Hope you had a very good weekend, dear viewers of Burundi National Television. It's time for English News edition, and I apologize for the delay. Let's start without further delaying by the headlines. The head of state, Evariste Ndayishimiye, called on the faithful of Gitongo Parish and all Burundians in the general to embrace unity and hard work in order to build a prosperous future. He said this Sunday while the presidential couple joined the Christians of Catholic Church of that parish. It is in the Archdiocese of Gitega. The Burundian Prime Minister Nestor Ntahontuye boarded a flight this afternoon bound for Rwanda, the capital city of Angola, where he will represent the head of state Evariste Ndayishimiye at the summit of African heads of state and government. This summit will focus on the financing of transport infrastructure in Africa. These were headlines. Welcome now in details. The 19th edition of the Peace Torch Caravan came to across this Saturday after its journey through all the communes of the country. The festivities took place at the Agasaka Stadium in Ngozi, Butanyerera province, in the presence of the presidential couple and other authorities. Our colleague Jiva Ndayishimiye takes us into the lively atmosphere that was prevailing on the ground.
After the inauguration of the medical oxygen production factory at Ngozi Hospital, the festivities marking the closing of the 19th edition of the Peace Torch Tour were launched with a march led by the head of state, accompanied by his spouse and other authorities, from Ngozi Hospital to Agasaka Stadium, where the official ceremonies took place. Upon arrival at the stadium, the head of state presented the peace torch to the population, who had come in large numbers to attend the event. Alongside the presidential couple, the Speaker of the National Assembly, the Speaker of the Senate, the Vice President of the Republic, the Prime Minister, members of the government, the UNICEF representative in Burundi, and other authorities also took part in the celebration. The ceremonies were enlivened by cultural groups and well-known Burundian artists who delivered inspiring messages through their songs. The Intavogegwa group from Kirundo, for instance, called on leaders to be a light to those they serve. Artists such as Sylvester Chiza, King Augustin and B-Face also performed during the event. Through his song, B-Face urged citizens to wake up and invest in their personal development. The ceremonies concluded with a symbolic moment of illumination, during which fireworks lit up the sky while the crowd raised their lamps in a festive and emotional atmosphere. The evening continued in a joy with a concert featuring various artists, bringing the 19th edition of the Peace Torch Tour to a successful close.
The head of state, Evariste Ndayishimiye, has called on every Burundian from the grassroots to the highest levels to fully carry out their responsibilities and to unite their efforts in order to develop the country. This appeal was made on Saturday during the closing ceremony of the Peace Torch Caravan. The event took place at the Agasaka Stadium in Ngozi, as said so far. Joseph Midajambo was on the ground.
At the conclusion of the 19th edition of the Peace Torch Caravan, Epipo Debranyikwa, chairperson of the Intwara Rumuri Association, thanked various people who helped in various ways to make the event a success, and then presented what they achieved during the tour countrywide. He mentioned, among others, their contribution in the construction of infrastructure Epipo Debaranyikwa requested that the leaders continue to support them because they are going to return to the communes to contribute to development activities. Taking the floor, the head of state, Evariste Ndayishimiye, thanked Intwari Rumuri for the good work they have done and appreciated that now the leaders have understood that they are different from their former ones and are the ones who enlighten those they lead in development activities. Evariste Ndayishimiye announced that this light will continue to illuminate Burundians on the goal that the country has set for development, and he asked everyone to effectively perform their responsibilities. The head of state, Evariste Ndayishimiye, said that a building will be constructed as the light monument so that future generations will remember the legacy of Burundi. The head of state granted 5 cows and 50 million Burundian francs to build a stable for Intwari Rumuri members to encourage them. On behalf of the citizens of Butanyerera province, Victor Sagasago, the governor of the province, handed to the head of state a gift consisting of cows and other livestock and baskets containing various products as a sign of their gratitude. Before this event, the presidential couple, along with high-ranking officials, inaugurated the medical oxygen production factory located at Ngozi Regional Hospital. This will
So that the presidential couple joined the faithful of Gitongo Parish in the Archdiocese of Gitega for Sunday Mass. President Ndayishimiye called on the parishioners and all Burundians in general to embrace unity and hard work in order to build a prosperous future. Joseph Mwinda Jambo once again.
At the Gitongo Parish of Archdiocese of Gitega, the presidential couple joined the Christians in the Mass of the Sunday. The head of the parish, Father Ignace Mboninyibuka, asked the Christians to pray in truth and to be humble and accept what they are, so as they gain the legacy of God. In his remarks, President Evariste Ndayishimiye congratulated Christians of Gitongo Parish concerning the rehabilitation of the church ongoing and promised to support them in this work. Father Ignace Mboninyibuka thanked the president for his advice, where he asked them to be united and work for the development of the country. He also expressed the gratitude towards the support of the President of the Republic. President Evariste Ndayishimiye provided pieces of advice to the Christians and asked them to avoid complaining because it would make them decline in development. The parish church of Gitongo was built in 1933.
As I just introduced in top stories, the Burundian Prime Minister Nestor Ntawunuye boarded the flight this afternoon bound for Luanda, the capital city of Angola, where he will represent the head of state Evariste Ndayishimiye at the Summit of African Heads of State and the Government. This summit will focus on the financing of transport infrastructure in Africa. The UNHCR representative in Burundi, Brigitte Mukanga Eno, and the European Union ambassador to Burundi, Elisabetta Pierre-Trobon, officially launched a project entitled Towards Sustainable Solutions, Integrated Protection and Resilience for Burundian Refugees. The project is funded by the European Union for €2.5 million. The UNHCR representative in Burundi stated that it will be implemented at the Congolese refugee site in Musenyi in Burunga province and aims at improving the living conditions of both the refugees and their host communities. We owe the details of this element to our colleague Marius Muhigwe.
This project signed between UNHCR and the European Union on representation in Burundi aims at strengthening the multidimensional resilience of Congolese refugees in Burundi, as well as that of host communities, with special attention given to women and vulnerable individuals. Brigitte Mukanga, the UNHCR representative here in Burundi, said it will also help meeting needs for sustainable housing for both current and new refugees and support their empowerment. On Friday, the delegation conducted a field visit to the Congolese refugee camp of Kavumu located in Chankuzo Commune, Buhumuza province. In this camp, a solar panel installation project was funded, which has positively impacted the lives of the refugees.
This Friday, October 24, Burundi joined the rest of the world in celebrating World Mental Health Day, usually observed on October 10 each year. This year, the day was celebrated under the theme, Access to Services of Mental Health in Disasters and Emergencies. The Minister of Public Health, Ridwine Baradahana, urged everyone to protect themselves and take preventive measures against anything that could affect mental health. Jivanda Ishimi once again.
The World Mental Health Day was celebrated as the statistics released by the World Health Organization indicate that globally about 12% of the population suffer from mental disorders. The same figures also show that 1 in 4 people worldwide has already been or will be affected by a mental health problem during their lifetime. Among the factors that weaken mental health are conflict within the country or families, the loss of a loved one or valuable property, forced displacement or persecution, injustice, natural disasters, excessive consumption of alcohol and drugs, poverty within households, and many other causes. The Minister of Public Health, Ridwine Baradahana, stated that many actions have already been undertaken in Burundi to support people suffering from mental disorders. However, to further strengthen mental health, she called on every citizen to pay special attention to it. She also urged everyone to avoid and stay away from anything that could disturb mental health. The celebration of this day was also marked by the donation of food and other essential items to families affected by a landslide in the Gitaza zone, as well as the distribution of 150 school benches to Buhomba Fundamental School, a gift from the European Union through the organization World GVC aimed at facilitating the learning of children. It should be noted that World Mental Health Day is celebrated each year on October 10th.
This Friday, Burundi commemorated the International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction. Roger Ndikumana, the head of the National Disaster Risk Management Platform, stated that the government of Burundi is making various efforts in order to remain preventing disasters. Fabian Yonizigie for more details.
The International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction was celebrated in Burundi under the theme Investing in Resilience Rather Than Responding to Disasters. The representative of the United Nations agencies and some of the Burundian government's technical and financial partners indicated that this celebration is an opportunity to recall everyone's responsibility in disaster prevention and management with a view to ensuring sustainability. The permanent secretary in charge of security at the Ministry of the Interior, Community Development and Public Security, Richard Ndaisaba, emphasized that preventing disasters is more advantageous and less costly than managing the consequences once they have occurred. The national coordinator of disaster management program indicated that the Burundian government is undertaking various efforts to anticipate disasters, including by establishing risk management committees at the hill level. The studies presented showed that disaster prevention is not only possible in Burundi, but that it would also be beneficial if technical partners invest more in this area and if the government ensure that the allocated funds are used wisely.
Another theme, the Lord has done great things for us and we are filled with joy. The Anglican Church of Bujumbura concluded on this Saturday the celebration marking its 50 years jubilee. The Bishop of the Diocese of Bujumbura, Eraste Bigirimana, announced that the church will continue its efforts to contribute to the country's development by improving living conditions within the communities and spread the gospel throughout all regions. For full story, Fabien Yonizigie once again.
The ceremonies marking the closure of the jubilee of 50 years of the Anglican Church of Bujumbura have been characterized by the prayer, which has been attended by different Christians coming from different regions. The Chief of State has been represented by Jean-Claude Karegwa, Councillor at the Presidency of the Republic of Burundi. In his speech, the Bishop of the Anglican Church of Bujumbura, Eraste Bigirimana, declared that those 50 years of existence of that church have been time of reinforcement of trustworthiness and capacity building. He has thanked the Almighty who protected the church and the Christians during that period. He stressed that different projects have been implemented during those 50 years and this helped to different people to improve their living conditions. He underlined the smooth collaboration with the Burundian government and other organizations. He says the opportunity to salute the relationship between the Burundi government and the other churches. He indicated that this jubilee symbolizes a new departure in the implementation of the objective of that church. Eraste Bigirimana promised to continue to invest in the development projects in their respective parishes within the country. He called upon the population, especially Christians of that church, to maintain good relationship with the government and other churches to promote peace and protect environment. Jean-Claude Karegwa, who represented the head of state in that ceremony, he saluted the main achievements made by this Anglican church during those 50 years. He invited this church to intensify its activities in order to contribute in the development of the country. Jean-Claude Karegwa and Nzako declared that there are other activities which need to be implemented in the country, like the construction of other schools and other health centers of the country. It was also a good occasion to order 7 diaconals, 20 pastors, and the Bishop of the Bujumbura Anglican Church invited them to work hard and change the world. Christians who made extraordinary acts of serving that church have been awarded with certificates, a sign of recognizing them for their contribution.
Thank you, Mr. Fabien. Turning now to sports, the Burundian men's team composed of Ndaisaba Don Dahumal and Igiraneza Engambe, along with women's team composed of Igiraneza Emerin and the Bunubgimana Nadia, secured first place at the Zone 5 International Beach Volleyball Championship held in Bujumbura. Serge Nakavura, the general who is leading the Burundian Volleyball Federation, expressed his satisfaction with the smooth conduct of the tournament and extended his gratitude to our participating teams. Until here, we have nothing more. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned.